for me, who finds everything scary, it's kind of scary. Oh my god. It's a whole thing. Getting with each other, slapping each other, swearing at each other. Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video, a brand new reading vlog. I was umming and ahhing about what to make this video, what books I wanted to read and what I specifically wanted to do for this reading vlog. I eventually settled on and decided we're going to be reading thrillers for a week, which I'm really excited about. My main objective, I'm going to try and stick to my physical TBR. Obviously we know we are just trying to read from the physical TBR because right now I cannot fit one more singular book on my physical TBR, which, is that a problem? I mean, no, but you know, it's not ideal when we're buying lots and lots of books. So I have quite a few thrillers actually on my physical TBR, but if I need a Freida McFadden thriller just to liven the mood, then I'll allow that and we'll read that on my Kindle. I have a few that I've earmarked for this video, which I'm very excited about. I've made myself a chai latte in the new milk frother that we bought, which is phenomenal, and I think I've already decided what my first book for this video is going to be. We're going to start with The Last Word by Taylor Adams. I think you would have seen in last week's video, or no, a couple of weeks ago, I bought this because I wanted to take it on holiday and read it, but I didn't end up putting it on my holiday TBR because I thought I want to make a thrillers video and we're going to read this. This I've heard so much good stuff about. Essentially, from my understanding, there's a girl and she writes a 1-star review on, I think it's like a horror book, and basically then the author of that book starts harassing her, which I feel like is right up my street. Like, that's so bookish, thriller coded, like nothing else that could exist. So I'm really excited. The back, like the comments on the back say, I still have whiplash, I'm speechless, I am scared to death reading this, a white knuckle reading a sitting thrill ride. I'm hoping this is going to be really twisty and turny and just jaw-droppingly spectacular and like unbelievable to an extent, but also like my jaw is on the floor and I'm obsessed. So fingers crossed. I've heard great things. I've never read anything by Taylor Adams before, but I'm just really excited because I think I'm going to love this. So I think this is the first one I'm going to pick up. It's super floppy as well, which is always a bonus. So I actually don't mind too much reading the paperback, but I'm sure as the day progresses and as the evening progresses and as my reading progresses, we will be switching over to the Kindle because it's just what happens. So without further ado, we're going to start and I'll give you my thoughts. We'll get into it and I'm excited, to put it lightly. I'm going to give you a bit of a rundown about what's going on. I am about 60 pages in, I'm on chapter 5, so a little bit of the way through. So Emma leaves a 1-star review on a horror book on Amazon Reviews, and the author ends up replying to the review, and it's quite like it's a very abrupt, kind of snappy response, and essentially he or she, I'm not 100% sure, I don't think we know yet, asks Emma to take the review down. Emma's like, I stand by my review, I'm not taking my review down. So basically the author replies and is like, take it down. And he's like, take it down or else. Essentially is like the meaning of what the author is then saying. And Emma's like, right, you know, this is just some silly little game. It will be fine. I'm just writing my reviews as I do with my Goodreads one-liners. And just, you know, going about my day. Anyway, that night, Emma is house-sitting. Throughout the first bit of the book, she's house-sitting for a lady, and it's just her and her dog and her books house sitting, and that night she sees a figure in her room and it's really dark. She's like, oh my god, like this is so scary. But when she goes to turn on the light, the figure disappears. And then she keeps hearing weird noises, keeps seeing things in the house, keeps seeing figures, and even the lady she's house sitting for called the police and was like, there was a figure in my house or outside my house last night. I saw it on the CCTV. I have a girl who's house sitting there. So all strange things are happening, and from what it seems like, there are things that also happened in the horror book. So it's like these similar things are now happening to Emma in real life as like a kind of consequence of her having rated the book a 1 star. So it's just a really interesting concept, and one that's like kind of close to home in the sense, like obviously we read and review books, and I'm really hooked. I'm hooked so far, and I think I kind of just want to sit and just devour this whole thing today because I'm really enjoying it, and it's my day off and I don't really have much else to do, so I think that's going to be the plan for the rest of the day, which I'm so excited about. Look at this little baby as well. So cute. If you're wondering what I'm drinking, I have an iced chai latte. You're thinking, why has she got ice in a mug? I kind of prefer just drinking every drink out of a mug. I don't know if that's a universal experience, if people are a big mug fan. I just do enjoy a mug with a nice handle. I don't think there's anything wrong with having ice in a mug. I don't know why society... Yeah, if you've never had an iced chai, I strongly urge you to make yourself one. They're very easy. We're getting into the drama of this book now. Obviously it's a thriller and it's obviously ridden with spoilers, so I don't want to say a whole lot because it is just going to spoil it, and obviously this is a spoiler-free reading vlog. I'm just enjoying these books, reviewing these books, so you can then read them. So I'm not going to say too much, but as we know, and like I said, the author of the book that Emma rated 1 star is now kind of stalking her and basically trying to kill her. In her review, she wrote that she'd rather die than read the book again. And I think the author's like, okay, I can make that happen. But the author basically says that they base all of their books off of real life things that have happened or that they've experienced or their real life. So every murder in every book is based on something real, and the author's basically saying that Emma and this scenario is going to be the next book. It's actually a bit scary, and it's not so much a psychological thriller. It's actually kind of, most people wouldn't say horror, but for me, who finds everything scary, it's kind of scary. So I would say bear that in mind. You wouldn't want to be reading this at like 3 a.m. in your house alone. But then again, it's not that scary. I just find everything scary. So take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt, basically. My God. I'm on part 3. I've got probably like 100 pages left. I am storming through this. Oh my God. I didn't get it on camera, but I had just had one of those moments. You know, when you're like reading, like deep into reading, and like your jaw drops and you just fully sit up and you're like, this is so good. This is so good. All of these like little mini twists and turns. First of all, just crazily unpredictable. And just I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I can't wait to tell you a bit more about this book once I'm finished, because I'm like on the home stretch now. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea who to trust. I have no idea how this is going to end. I just have no clue about anybody. Very twisty, very turny, and I'm thoroughly enjoying these plot twists. God, oh my god, oh my god, the end. Oh my god, stop. This is so wild. The acknowledgements, I don't know if there are additional acknowledgements, but yeah, there are. There's not the acknowledgements at the end are like not from the author of the book, but like the author of the book in the book. If that makes sense. This is wild. That was wild. We're gonna read the final acknowledgements now. No way. Oh my god, it just keeps going and going. We're on the epilogue now. That's it. It's over. Oh my god. I'm gonna take Teddy out. Have a little think about what the hell I just read, because I don't know, I need 20 minutes or so just to recollect myself, but spoiler, I really enjoyed it. Come on, Ted. Oh, someone's excited. Right, gosh. Do this with Ted sitting by me. Are you gonna settle down, because your bells are gonna be really annoying? I've had some time to reflect. I've had some time to gather my thoughts. I'm going to relay them to you. Okay. This was a journey. It went by very quick, and I felt like I was reading the pages and the page numbers seemed to be flying. Like, you know, sometimes you're like, God, that's a long 100 pages. This flew by, and this whole book flew by, to be honest, which is my favourite kind. This was, the best way I can describe it is like believably unpredictable. Like, none of this was too far-fetched. It was all kind of within grasp, but it was really clever, and the way it was crafted and everything was intertwined was just kind of satisfying and very neat. And it kind of almost felt full circle in a sense, even though it kind of necessarily wasn't. Like, it felt very tidy and clean. I will say, I don't know if you saw my reaction. You saw my reaction at the end of the book, and I kind of was like, oh, like, is that it? I don't know if I was expecting, like, I obviously don't want to say how it ends or anything because it's just gonna spoil it, but kind of got to the end and I was like, oh. You obviously have the acknowledgements from, like, there's like 2 sets of acknowledgements. The first set, which you think are like the acknowledgements for the actual book, because it says like the end before it, but the way this book's written is it's kind of written almost like dual POV in a sense, but it's in third person. So you have Emma, and then like in a different font, you have like this different font, you have the point of view of the author of the murder mystery, the horror book that she's rated 1 star. So even though they're not in first person, you still get both points of view, which is really neat and really interesting, and I really liked that. It's rare that you get such a back and forth in a thriller. Usually thrillers are kind of just like one POV, or you get it kind of dotted around a little bit, but this, it was very much, you would get 1 paragraph from Emma, 1 paragraph from the author, and it was very, very much literally back and forth, and it really complemented the book doing it that way. Taylor Adams Slade. It had jaw-dropping points, but it wasn't, and this is going back to me saying it wasn't completely ridiculous, and it was not unfathomable like some thrillers we sometimes read. I feel like you're like, how did we even get to there? Like, it's unhinged. This wasn't necessarily unhinged. It was gruesome and it was kind of sad, but it wasn't, the plot wasn't unfathomable. Like, everything kind of made logical sense. So I don't know, maybe I was expecting it to be more like that. I didn't really know what to expect going into this, and I feel like with a thriller you never really know anyway. But with that all being said, if you're just a reader and I just really recommend this as like a staple thriller in your thriller TBR, because it's super easy read, it's floppy, which gives it bonus points, and it's just really unique, and I loved the concept. The concept really nailed it for me because it just felt very close to home, and if I'm gonna get murdered, this is gonna be it. Like, you know, like this is what's gonna go down. I'm trying to decide on my rating and I don't know what I want to give it. I think I want to give it a 4. I really enjoyed it and it kept me engaged the whole day, so I feel like that stands for something. So I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars because, like I said, I really enjoyed it. Okay, I've decided the next book we're going to tackle for this video, the next thriller we're going to read, it's going to be Guilty Women by Melanie Blake. I think I got this in a charity shop. I think it's something to do with a group of TV actresses, and it seems like they all have some secret, something they're trying to hide, and assuming we're finding out who's guilty from the title. It's not rated very highly on Goodreads, but we're not gonna let that disrupt my reading and preset my expectations, because we're not doing that anymore. I'm excited. I think this is gonna be something different, and as I just showed you, it literally says in the front, like the dedication almost, it says, "This book is dedicated to you, my wonderful readers. I am eternally grateful for your love of my twisted tales. Hold on tight and fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be another bumpy ride." So that's filling me with hope that it's going to be twisty and turny, it's going to have lots of plot twists, and it's just going to be a vibe. And that's what I need. That's literally all I need in a thriller. Give me that and I'm happy. So we're going to start reading this. I'll update you tomorrow. It's quite late, so I probably won't get too far into it, but I'll update you tomorrow with how I'm feeling, how it's going, and I'll give you a bit more, because I have no idea really. I've heard no one talk about this book, no idea really what it's about, and sometimes that's exciting. So we're going to start this. Gonna be honest with you all, it's the next evening. I am so tired that I don't think it's possible for me to keep my eyes open and read some more of this book. I am a grand total of about 10% through. I literally have no idea what's happening. I'm so confused. Someone has died, I think been murdered. Basically this bunch of celebrities who I think are all part of this reality TV show, and they're harbouring this secret, or they're all harbouring individual secrets, and it's all to do with this murder that's taken place. I think I'm envisioning the book being very like gossipy and drama filled and kind of like a reality, I mean, I guess they're starring in a reality TV show, but that like kind of persona and the reality TV is going to carry through into the actual book and like their real lives. I'm just struggling because I'm so sleepy and I don't know what I can do to wake myself up and to not doze off and fall asleep, because it's only 9 o'clock, so I'm not quite sure what we can do about that. But that's my update. I'm gonna try and make a dent in it. I'll come back to you tomorrow and we'll reassess. I'm not loving it so far. Like I said, I'm really lost and I don't understand what's going on, but we're gonna give it a fair chance before I DNF. We're gonna at least try and get to 25%, and then if I still hate it, we can DNF it. But we're gonna stick with it because, like I said, it seems like a unique concept and I just need to read some more and then we can make any decisions. Hello, it is the next day. Probably could have guessed, well maybe you can't, but I'm gonna tell you now. We're officially DNFing Guilty Women by Melanie Blake, like a hard DNF. I got to the 25% mark like I promised. I just don't understand what is going on. It is so unreadable and just so confusing. There is so many characters, and they kind of give you like almost like a cast page, like at the front, like they tell you about each of the characters, but who the hell is flipping back between that and the front page? Like nobody. It's just, personally, I just know I'm not going to be able to get into this, and it's just a no. It's just a no. I don't really understand what's going on. Don't really understand who anybody is. I'm so confused. People are just getting with each other, slapping each other, swearing at each other, and I don't understand who's who, and I don't understand what's happening. And yes, maybe if I continued that would become clearer, but I'm just not interested, and I can't force myself to read this book, and I'm trying to be a lot harsher with myself in 2024. And if I'm not enjoying a book by like the 25-30% mark, I'm allowing myself to DNF. So unfortunately, we'll be DNFing this. Not much more to say, really. Still can't give you a plot because I don't really understand what's going on. And I think, honestly, that's from like a lack of interest part, as well as just it's confusingly written. That means we need to move on to another book. I think I have a couple of my physical TBR, but I think I'm just going to go with the good old Freida McFadden just to cure my sanity. I'm going to have a look on Goodreads and see. Going to try and find a nice and short one. Potentially one that I can just binge tonight and read the whole thing. We'll see. But I think that's what we're going to have to go with, because I'm not slumping, but I haven't read for the past like 3 days. 2-3 days, and that's not good. So I'm gonna look, I'll update you with what I choose, but we're gonna move on to a Freida McFadden because we love that girl. I settled on Do You Remember? I haven't heard anybody talking about this. I haven't even started it yet, but I don't know, I just like the description. Basically, just from what I've read, seems like it's about a woman who loses her memory. A stranger is pretending to be her husband. She can't remember what's happening. She can't remember who she is. She can't remember her name. She can't remember anything. And all this weird stuff is just going on. And I feel like it sounds good. People in the Goodreads review said that it was plot twisty, which I love. So we're going to give this a go. We're going to give you my thoughts, and it's just over 300 pages, so I'm hoping I can binge this to like the greatest degree. But I'm excited. We're gonna start reading. I'll let you know what I think, give you my thoughts, and hopefully we prefer it to Guilty Woman, because this is going straight back to the charity shop, respectfully. Literally, what the hell? Oh my god. So what I was basically saying was correct. Tess wakes up, she's not in her house, she's not with her fiance, she is in a random house, and the person in bed with her is not her fiance, it's just a random guy. She's like, so right, this is not normal. So she's like, who are you? Why are you here? Naturally, as you would. And he basically says, look, I know you would react this way, read this letter. So we're about to read the letter. I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of amnesia situation. This literally happens in chapter 1. Like, we are getting into it, and this is what Guilty Women wasn't doing. It was like beating around the bush. I need to get straight into the action. Otherwise, especially with the thriller, couldn't care less. So basically, this letter is a letter that Tess has written to herself, basically saying that the guy who she thinks is her fiance is not a bad man, is a bad man. Like, it's good that they're not together anymore, and this Graham guy is her new husband. They're married. He's her husband, and he loves her, and they're good together. And he basically just gives her this letter, I'm assuming, whenever she, like, a bad day, because she was in a car accident and she has some bad days where her memory just isn't very good. But yeah, I'm literally 4% in. I'm gonna sit down. I'm kind of hooked already, and we're just gonna read for the rest of the night. I might come back with some updates if anything crazy happens, but I also might just update you in the morning. But I'm really enjoying it so far, and I feel like that's all that matters. Right, my loves, it is the next day. I want to say, hold on, we made a huge dent in this last night. We are 74% of the way through. We're on chapter 36. This book is wild and I'm really enjoying it. It's got the potential to be one of my favourite Freida McFaddens, and it's just so simple and just so well executed. I've already said that essentially Tess is in a car accident. She basically wakes up every day with no memory in her head, living like 7 years in the past. She still has her old fiance. They're about to get married. They're like totally in love. He's just proposed to her. But in current life, she's waking up next to a man she doesn't recognise, who she finds out is her husband of 4 years. And he has to give her a letter every morning that basically says, this is your life now, you're happy, your fiance was really horrible to you, it's better you're not with him. And it's a whole thing. She wakes up every morning to this letter and things are kind of just sketchy. She's like, I don't know, I don't want to say too much, obviously, but things are just kind of sketchy. She's not sure. She's like, this guy, like, he's saying he's my husband, but, you know, I don't know him, so it feels kind of weird, like we're in the same bed. It just feels weird, and not everything is adding up. And that's kind of exciting as the reader, because we know something's about to go down. This whole thing is basically her trying to escape, and like I said, she revisits her past in ways, but I don't want to say because it's kind of spoilers, and it just takes the fun out of the book if I tell you. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to literally sit and finish it, and I'll come back to you now, but I'm, 75% of the way through. I can't, probably like an hour. I can read this whole last 25% in an hour, and I'll come back to you, give you my thoughts. But right now, nothing like crazy's really happened up until now. Like, there's been no crazy plot twists. Nothing's really been revealed. She's still really confused. She has some suspicions, but nothing's been proven. And basically, poor Tess is just constantly getting gaslit by everybody around her, which, when you can't remember anything anyway, is pretty scary. Like, you wake up every morning not knowing where you are, not knowing your name, not knowing who's sleeping next to you, not knowing anything, like, of your life in the past, like, 7 years. And basically everyone's gaslighting you. So, and even, like, she calls the police. She's like, this guy's not my husband. Help me, like, he's kidnapped me, he's holding me hostage. And even the police are like, no, like, we know your memory's messed up, stop calling us. What if she actually needed help? Like, anyway, I'm on chapter 36, 75% of the way through, and I will let you know when I'm done, and I'll let you know my thoughts. It's all starting to unravel. I'm 85% through, finally getting some answers. God. Right. Oh my god, okay. Okay, I'm done. I'm finished. I feel like I can talk about this pretty straight after the fact. I really enjoyed it. And I loved how kind of simple it was and how easy to read it was. And it was a real page turner. And essentially, you're kind of reliving, it's set over the point of like 5 days or so ish, and obviously each day Tess wakes up and doesn't remember, so you go through the thing every day of like, who is my husband, like, where am I, what's going on, why do I have a dog, like, you go through that each of the days. Not necessarily even repetitive in that sense, but it's just part of the story, and you get little details as you go along. I thought, having read Freida McFadden's other books, it was nowhere near as crazy. I find her books often unhinged, kind of far-fetched, unbelievable, and just kind of slightly ridiculous, but in the best way. This wasn't like that at all. This was completely believable and not I was going to say predictable, but what I was predicting in my head was like further afield than what actually happened. Knowing Freida McFadden's writing, if that makes sense, this is one of our older books. And obviously if I knew that it wasn't going to be as wild, then it was a gettable ending. It was a fine ending. It just wasn't anything groundbreaking. There wasn't really any major plot twists, and there were characters where I thought something was going to go down. there was something more to the character, but then it just didn't go anywhere. And that's the thing with Freida McFadden. She likes to have multiple plot twists that don't really relate to each other, but they keep like hitting you from like any direction, and this kind of had the main twist and that was kind of it. That being said, I actually really enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna give it, rating wise, I think a 3.5, because it felt very full circle, even though there were a few things that I would have liked to see. Like, I would have kind of just liked it to be a bit longer and we would have been able to investigate more into these characters, and I feel like more could have been done with the story, because the story was very strong and it had a great backbone. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed. I've heard no one talking about Do You Remember by Freida McFadden, and I feel like people should be talking about it because I really enjoyed it. We read some good books in this video. Mine is Guilty Women, which is currently in my pile to go back to the charity shop. But The Last Word and Do You Remember were both really solid books, and I'd recommend you read them. With that all being said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe for more super chatty reading vlogs, because there's one pretty much every week. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you when I see you. Bye!